This will define everything for the Buccaneers and the Patriots. After the Bucs are coming off a bye week, they have a brutal 3-game stretch, starting with the Patriots, and the Patriots are looking to continue their 6-game win streak against one of their more challenging teams this season. So it should be setting up for quite the matchup here in Tampa Bay. I'm Sebastian with Buccaneers Digest. Welcome to the channel. Jace, this is your first time on the channel. Jace Andrews, he's with Patriots Digest, as amongst many other channels. But how are you feeling, Jace?
Feeling good, ready to get a win on Sunday.
Okay, yeah, we'll see how that goes. But I mean, overall, I think I'm really excited about this game because the last time the Patriots and Bucs played, it was the Tom Brady return game. These teams look very different than they did then. Two different coaches from then and two different quarterbacks. Some familiar faces, but mostly pretty different, especially on the Patriots side. But it seems like
I don't know if we have a single player from that era, to be honest.
Not a single one?
We might have a couple, but it's few and far between.
Not super notable names. So, but yeah, the Bucs still have some core guys that are still around from the Super Bowl year. But overall, they're pretty unique and in different eras of both teams. Very exciting though, because they are both good teams, and it should be a great matchup. Brady recently was saying that this might be a Game of the Year candidate, and he also said, "Don't make me choose between either of these teams." And I thought that was pretty funny.
Don't make me choose. It's because he would say the Patriots. Let's be honest.
Okay, we'll see. He takes ownership.
He's got a
over us,
statue with the Patriots. He might have a Super Bowl, but he's got 6 with us.
He did leave y'all though, and he retired with us. So
this is true, but now he works for the Raiders. So I don't know.
Yeah, fair enough.
We're both kind of the ex-girlfriend right now. Let's be honest.
You're right. No, but yeah, no, it's a great time to be a fan of both of these teams. But you're on the win streak. You have the quarterback who was leading the MVP race. And I just kind of want to break down the game a little bit with some graphics that I've got here, and then we can jump full into the discussion. Bailey Adams from Pew Report had to say, in recent weeks, that pressure has seemingly mounted as Mayfield himself has been banged up with a knee injury, and it was clear that he couldn't make some of the scrambling hero plays he was making earlier this season. He was under constant pressure, too, which led his accuracy plummet over the last 2 games. The hope has to be that the bye week gave him a chance to get his knee feeling better. Not only that, but there's also some hope that he could have right tackle Luke Hideki back for the first time since week 2. Then he went to continue on in his article that May is looking every bit like the player New England expected him to be when he was drafted number 3 overall in last year's draft. Through 9 games, he is completing an incredibly efficient 74.1% of his passes for 2,285 yards and 17 touchdowns for just 4 interceptions. He also added 270 yards and 2 more scores on the ground, too, to give him 2,500 total yards and 19 total touchdowns. This is just absurd. Obviously, MVP numbers. Todd Bowles then went on to say, the Pats are a tough football team. Vrabel does a very good job getting those guys ready, crossing their T's and dotting their I's. They're very tough defensively, up front, offensively. They're huge. Their quarterback is playing out of the world right now. He has great touch and feel for what they're doing right now. They're on a roll. And then I want to bring this point up actually later on as we analyze things. Christian Gonzalez went on to point things out. The Bucs have been doing a really good job. They've got a lot of weapons. Emeka has been playing real good. Tez has been playing real good. They've got speed. They're strong. They do a lot. We're excited for the challenge. But this is kind of what I wanted to jump off from. Drake May is second in MVP odds. He should be leading, but I think this is more of like what people are expecting this season to end up as they expect Josh Allen to kind of go on a run here. But
I think also in some ways they expect Drake May to fall.
I was going to say,
do as well as
absolutely.
People are expecting.
Yeah, exactly. But where are you right now? Drake May expectations, the vibe, it has to be absurdly high. I mean, you see Bo Nix play last night, and it's like there's not even a compare. They're not even the same stratosphere. So
I've got to be honest. I didn't realize how bad the Broncos were until last night.
It's very
like I knew
vibes.
They kind of they're kind of a little bit of a fraud in some aspects. Like, they've played some horrible teams and some horrible quarterbacks. The Patriots have done the same thing. I'm not trying to say that Patriots are different than them. However, we've at least beat the Bills in Orchard Park with Josh Allen on Sunday Night Football.
The Broncos did beat the Eagles in Philly, though.
I don't think Philadelphia is a good team, but that's just my opinion.
Fair enough.
I don't like Jalen Hurts. I think Nick Sirianni is a bad coach, and the Eagles would be so much better if they had a different coach and a different quarterback. But
Interesting.
that's besides the point. I'm very high on Drake May. I really do believe that he is going to have a good game this week, especially when last week the Patriots won because Parker Romero of the Atlanta Falcons, who, by the way, was the Patriots kicker at the start of camp, and then we cut him. He then missed an extra point against us in Gillette Stadium to give us the win.
Yep.
So very funny, but Drake May had a horrendous fumble at the end of the first half that gave the Falcons 7 points.
Yes.
Where we were about to be in field goal range, and Andy Borgalis, our rookie kicker, has been great. So I mean, at that point in time, we were looking to go up like legitimately like 17 points, and instead we went into the half only up by 7 because of the fumble. They scored the touchdown.
Right.
Drake then threw an interception on an overthrow in the second half, so he had not a good game and still won. And after the game, he said, listen, I played bad, and we were able to win because of everybody else.
Yep.
I was almost the reason we lost, but thankfully my team picked me up. And this is a team sport. But I can tell you what, I'm going to be better next week. I got to be better. And Will Campbell in the first week allowed 3 sacks and had that same mindset. He said, I'm better. And then he went 6 straight weeks without allowing a pressure, much less a sack, until Myles Garrett faced him. Myles Garrett is a different beast, though, so I'm going to give him a pass. But I'm kind of expecting that same thing from Drake May. I really do think that this is a big-time game, first of all, and he knows it. It's a challenge game for him. And he just had a bad game and wants to say, hey, that's not me. I'm going to go out here. I'm going to go prove myself.
Yeah. No, I'm expecting big things from him. We've talked before about the differences. I think the Bucs defense and the pass defense is actually pretty similar in their strengths and weaknesses. But at the same time, I think these teams are actually very evenly matched in a lot of ways. Coaching-wise, I think both Vrabel and Todd Bowles are both players' coaches. You see Vrabel in like the tunnel kind of high-fiving guys after every game. He's changed the culture there. The Titans were idiots to give him up. I think you and I can both agree on that. That was one of the dumbest moves that franchise has ever made. But, as soon as that happened, the Patriots knew that they were going to, make a coaching change because that was your guy, and you got him. And so now here we are. Todd Bowles remains, in my opinion, still an underrated coach. I think people always underestimate defensively the stuff he's able to do with maybe not the best personnel. Our defense is not that talented besides like Vita Vea, Lavonte David, and Antoine Winfield. Besides that, we've got some solid rookie corners. But
Antoine is a dog. I think he's one of the most underrated defensive players in the NFL. I love Antoine.
Oh, thank you so much. I mean, we gave Tyreek Hill the peace sign in the Super Bowl, and he, one of the most iconic sports pictures. But Vita Vea, just like Milton Williams in a lot of ways, some of the most underrated defensive tackles in the league right now, should be talked about in the top 5, in my opinion. They just cause disruption, havoc. They set the tone. They set the line. The battle of the trenches is going to be very, very interesting because, like we mentioned in that article, Gadecki, our right tackle, he's been out since week 2, and he basically didn't play any of that Texans game. So we've been banged up offensively big time. Our receivers, we're only going to have Emeka, obviously Evans, Godwin, Bucky Irving. They're all out of this game. So it's really going to be on Emeka, Rashad White, K-Dot, and Tez Johnson to keep this offense going for the Buccaneers. While the Patriots do pretty well defensively for the most part. I think they handled the Bills really well in that one game. And these other games they've really taken down the Browns. Obviously that's not crazy. A lot of teams take down the Browns offense, but they do really well against the Browns defense. How do you feel about the Patriots going up against the Bucs offense? Maybe a little bit coming off of a bye. Does that concern you at all, or are you just kind of like, we'll handle it?
Not necessarily. I think Harold Landry has been one of the best blitzing linebackers in the NFL, one of the most underrated ones. You mentioned Milton Williams. He's always going to be able to get back in there. And given they're off a bye and given they're getting linemen back, it's going to be hard for them to get back up into game speed, especially if Baker's back to full speed, quote unquote, this week.
Yep.
I don't know if it's a concerning factor. It definitely is an advantage for the Buccaneers to be off a bye, considering we just played a game.
Yeah.
But I think the bigger, let's call it disadvantage for the Patriots is the injuries to them. Obviously, not having Mike Evans, not having Bucky, that's a huge part of y'all's team. But we're so young and so, reliant on every single piece we have that if one piece goes, it kind of changes the dynamic of the team.
Yeah.
And last week, we only won by 1 point against the Falcons team, which is not amazing. Obviously, Drake London's amazing, and that's why he had 3 touchdowns.
Sure.
But we're going to be without Ramondre Stevenson.
Yeah.
We're going to be without Kayshon Boutte. And those 2 guys have been huge parts. So I like Travion Henderson. I think he deserves more reps. I know he's a rookie, and Mike Vrabel just doesn't play rookies, and that's just what it is.
Yeah.
But Kayshon Boutte has been the deep threat that we've used very, very well this season with Drake May.
Mm-hmm.
However, last week Matt Collins became that deep threat, and he had 6 receptions. So I'm curious to see how that goes and how the dynamic of our receivers are. But to me, because of last week, because we had Drake London go off on us and have 3 touchdowns, and they were all in the end zone. It was all fade routes, and we had Marcus Jones being put on. Who's Marcus is a great nickelback. Don't get me wrong,
Sure.
but he's small. He's small. He has to play in the slot. That's why he's a nickelback.
Yep.
And so, if it's me controlling the defense, which it's not, but given what happened last week, I'm saying Christian Gonzalez, you're going to be following Emeka Egbuka around.
Yep.
I don't care if you get the only way they're getting you off him is if they pick route you, and in that case, it's a penalty.
Yeah.
Like if there's a switch, I still want you to go after him because
Sure.
I trust you're fast enough, and I trust Marcus Jones is fast enough. I truly believe that the Patriots have the fastest quarterbacks in the NFL with Davis, Christian Gonzalez, and Marcus Jones.
Yeah, no, it's actually a solid trio there. And the Bucs, we were worried about our secondary going into the season. Jacob Parrish and Benjamin Morrison were fantastic selections. They're looking really, really solid. I'll be interested to see how Jamel Dean continues his stellar. This is probably the best year he's played, playing on a contract year now. So 2 solid.
It always comes in those
secondaries.
contract years.
I know. It's just it's funny how that works, but I think it'll be interesting to see who ends up like playing man on like Diggs or something like that. He seems to be like breaking out a lot more, playing with confidence.
He's playing like a little bit of a CD Lamb type role where we're getting into
Yeah.
the under route and
Yeah.
letting him kind of do the rest because his agility is very good. But also look out for Pop Douglas. DeMario,
Okay.
he had 2 great catches against the Saints.
Uh-huh.
Deep route, we can really burn y'all. So unless,
Okay.
I mean, Antoine Winfield's good, but you got to have 2 high safeties on every play.
Sure. Yeah. No. Absolutely. And the Bucs for the most part defend the deep ball well. The only time that didn't go well for us was the Seahawks game, which was just a complete shootout. But for the most part, they're good at neutralizing stuff. I wouldn't be surprised though if there was like a 40, 50-yard bomb that Drake May completes. It's
He does
almost
about one every game. So.
exactly. That's almost bound to happen. I'm hoping Baker can match that at the very least to Emeka. So it'll be exciting to watch. I mean, I think all the fans are hoping for a offensive shootout.
Yeah, it sucks that it's at 11. Or it's at 1 p.m. Eastern time.
I
That
know.
kinda
It
sucks.
should have been flexed to primetime if we're being honest.
When they talked about flexing it, but personally, because of the way these teams are playing, I would have loved if they said, "Hey, we're flexing this to the Tom Brady game.
Yeah,
He's calling this."
Exactly. I don't know. That would have been funny to see him like fumble over to like, oh, wait, the
Because
Bucs
he
are
would
playing
have
well,
definitely
Patriots-
been unbiased. Like that's what you got to do on TV. But I just having Tom Brady know both these teams, like he knows Mike Vrabel. He played with
Sure.
him, so like it would just be cool.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It'll be interesting to see his commentary afterwards and his thoughts on the game. But I will be at this game to watch everything unfold. Lastly, I do want to talk though about Drake May going up against the Todd Bowles defense because I hinted at it earlier. Todd Bowles is consistently underrated in terms of his defensive schemes, especially in the second half. Typically, teams will start out pretty fast on the Bucs defense. They'll either score a field goal or a touchdown on their first drive, and I'm sure that you'll be licking your chops and then you'll be rubbing your hands together. I promise you, that's not what the game will look like for the rest of
The
the
Patriots
time.
have one of the best plus minuses in the first and third quarter. So,
So-
we adjust really well. We have a great adjustment at the beginning, and we adjust at halftime very well. So
Yeah, and
because we
the-
scored 30 points against the Browns in the third quarter, and then we've scored a touchdown in the first quarter in pretty much every single game.
Funny enough, the Bucs play their best in like the second and fourth quarters, so this should be a really.
All right.
I was gonna say this. Like, it takes a while for them to get going, but once they get going, they're really going. And in the fourth quarter, Baker plays his best. So I think that's a recipe for a shootout, like most people would want. But I want to bring up Dan Orlovsky's like his analysis here because he said that this will be the biggest challenge Drake May has faced in his NFL career. This defense, number one, very good against the run, and then number two, it makes you constantly think. They're constantly changing the question on you, pre-snap to post-snap. This pressure is coming from here. This guy's dropping from there. This coverage is rotating that way. He hasn't really seen that, so we're going to know a lot more about Drake May just as far as how good he is after this week. And this brings up the question to me. I still wonder how cerebral Drake May is. I know he is extremely talented, but how can he, dissect a defense in terms of changing the play at the line of scrimmage? Does he recognize the coverage? Does he recognize the disguise? He's still early in his career, and you would almost consider maybe this being his rookie year. Last year probably shouldn't count. So it's interesting to hear Orlovsky, who knows the game very well. I really appreciate his analysis, saying that this is going to be the toughest defense he goes up against because of the mind of Todd Bowles and his ability to adjust to whatever the opposing team is doing. So whatever you guys start the game with is not what the Bucs will look like in the second half, especially. So I am excited to see a bit of a chess match, because the Pats versus Bucs game, the Brady game, was a chess match. Like, Belichick threw everything he had defensively at Brady, and Brady was looking off all game. It was in the rain, very dramatic. I expect a similar chess match, but I don't think it'll be nearly as successful either way. I think this will be sluggish maybe in the first half, and then a complete shootout in the second half.
I honestly believe whoever wins the turnover battle is going to win this game.
Interesting.
I mean, I know
Yeah.
that's such a basic thing to say, but like, if Drake May turns the ball over, it can go really bad, really fast for the
Yeah.
Patriots.
Yeah.
Because we played the Falcons last week and we turned the ball over 2 times and barely won.
Yeah.
But we played the Steelers early in the year. We lost by 7. We turned the ball over 5 times. So turnovers are just a huge thing. Obviously, Ramondre's not playing, and so the fumble boy is out. So don't worry about that. But I'm excited to see Drake May play in this because it is going to be a challenge. It is.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I look back to that Browns game, and I know Kevin Stefanski tried to disguise that defense and design it in a way to trick Drake May.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to give a lot of credit to Drake May because he is very cerebral, as you would say, in his early year. But I think a lot of the credit also has to go to Josh McDaniels because he has taught so many quarterbacks that are similar to Drake May.
Yeah.
And those are the ones that he's been successful with. I mean, when you go over to his time in Las Vegas, it just wasn't the right quarterback. Derek Carr was not a Tom Brady type quarterback. Neither was whoever he had in that time. I mean, it wasn't a great fit for him.
No.
And so having a guy like Tom Brady and Drake May, I think in a lot of ways you got to approach Josh McDaniels because he's going to force him to look at the defenses.
Yeah. I mean, I think it'll be interesting to watch as it progresses on. Like, will he get frustrated? Like, how, if he throws an interception or fumbles the ball, how will he recover from that? Because it felt like the offense against the Falcons for the Pats slowed down quite a bit after those turnovers. So we'll see if the Bucs are able to put pressure on Drake, or if he has just a goldfish memory and is able to move on quickly. And for the Bucs offense going against the Pats defense, the run game is probably not going to be very explosive with Bucky out, so it's going to be heavily reliant on the passing game.
The Patriots are also the only team in the NFL that has not allowed a 50-yard rusher all
which is
season.
ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And then Drake has like 8 straight games with 100+ passer ratings, so he's looking amazing. Baker's looking to get back on track. We have a brutal schedule in terms of these next 3 games with the Pats, the Rams, and the Bills. I know that you guys
go out there and beat the Bills, guys.
I know.
Go beat them, but don't beat us.
Well, we'll do that after we beat you guys, and we'll get even there. So but I'm just so excited.
Well, if you beat us, you have to beat them. I will say that.
Yeah,
that's truth.
That'll be the trade. But overall, I think most people are just very excited about this game. I think it's the game of the week. And who knows? Maybe Baker can get his MVP track back on track. But I think Drake has a very good chance to continue his streak. This Sunday. Again, I will be at the game updating folks while we're going on. I'm sure Jace, if things are going the Pats' way, will be, very much bragging towards my way. But before we sign off,
I'm a guy who doesn't brag to the end of the game, though. I'm
you don't?
like, my friends were Falcons fans, and I the entire game, like, we were up, and they were like, "Oh, that's over," and I was like, "I'm not gonna say anything yet."
Yeah. You've watched enough football to know you don't cheer until it hits 0.
After that 28-3 game, no game is ever over.
No, seriously. Oh my gosh. But yeah, no, I mean, lastly, before we head out here, we do want to do a little subscriber race here. The Pats Digest, looking to try and beat the Bucs Digest this weekend. We're trying to make it to 3,000. They're trying to beat us, but we'll see how that goes. Any last thoughts about this game or to your fans or anything like that?
All I'm hearing is that Patriots Digest is on the up and up, and so we're going to beat you this weekend, and then within the next 2 weeks, we're going to catch you in subscribers.
Okay.
And then he's just going to have to sit there.
Okay.
And I love Baker, don't get me wrong, but it's going to be a tough week for him when Christian Gonzalez picks him off 3 times.
Okay. No, I like the confidence. I like it. I love it. And I'll just do a quiet thumbs up when we win. But, But overall, I can't wait. Like all things, just like I actually love Patriots versus Bucs just as a matchup, and
I agree. That's gonna be a fun game.
It should be a great game. So, anyways,
what's your final score prediction before we get out of here?
oh, true. I'm gonna go 24-20 Buccaneers.
I'm gonna go 27-21 Patriots.
Okay, so I got a 4-point victory. You have a 6-point victory. Bucs are only favored. I think it's -3 in the odds.
Bucs are favored because they're at home. I think this
home.
is an even game if it's at a
exactly
if it's
neutral
at a
site.
neutral
It would be
location,
even, which is beautiful. These are two
How it
good
should
teams.
be.
So
How
anyway,
it should be.
can't wait. Should be great. But thank you, Jace, for joining us. Thank you for
Thank
talking
you.
some Pats ball, some Bucs ball, and we'll see what happens on Sunday. But either way, it should be fun. So.